Okay, so we have completed our course on Anypoint, getting started with Anypoint platform, and we completed all the modules, right? All the modules, all of these. Do you guys have any questions there?
No.
And now today we'll be going through the Anypoint platform development fundamentals. It's a 5 days course. Go and register to this course. Log into training.mulesoft.com, and then in the courses you will find Anypoint platform and fundamentals.
Done.
That was fast. Mine is still loading. Once you enroll, you'll see that in the dashboard, or it will automatically launch. Here also you go and download the resources. There are 4 files. So you can ignore the last one, but you can ignore the, sorry, you can download the first one here. AP Dev Fundamentals 4.4 student files. So we won't be using any of the resources that we used for the earlier session. Introduction to platforms. So here we'll be completely using new folder here, which we downloaded, app dev. So here in this session, right, a part of walkthroughs, you'll also have DIY. That means do it yourself. So after every session, since you have basic knowledge on the platform and the studio and all of the main aspects of MuleSoft, you will be doing this as a homework from now, DIY exercises. This will not be discussed in the class, but if you face issues or if you stuck somewhere, I'll be happy to help you. Other
Okay.
than that, we'll be having regular walkthroughs and videos. In this session also, we'll be creating a Salesforce account. So you'll all need to have a Salesforce account created. So for that, we'll walk through some of the steps here. First one, download the students files. I just downloaded. What about you? All of you three.
Yeah, we did.
Just a moment. Just a moment.
In the meanwhile, Varun, you can go ahead and create an account in the salesforce.com.
Okay.
First, it's good to register with the developer.salesforce.com. I am sending you the link in the chat. Developer.salesforce.com. So go there and create an account. When on this page, you'll have to click get started and click this developer get started on the Spring 23 for developers.
Do I need to click start my free trial?
Where are you at? Did you download the files?
Yes, downloaded and start your like the same page, the Salesforce
Okay,
page.
in the Salesforce page, click on sign up.
Okay. Like start my free trial.
Go to developer.salesforce.com.
Yes, I am on developers.salesforce.com.
There, click on where is that register button?
Do I need to click on sign up?
Yeah, sign up. Where do you see sign up button?
After clicking on sign up, it was saying start your free trial, no credit card required. Do I need to start my free trial?
Yes. Yeah. So in the free trials, browse trails, in the browse trails, you will have the Salesforce Developer Edition. So sign up for the Salesforce Developer Edition. And here you have to create all the details. Okay. Yeah, better follow this step, which Kanil said. Go to this tempmail.org and copy that email ID and register with that email ID. And then once you successfully register, you'll see this page almost there. That means they already sent an email verification for your email, and you can verify inbox here for this email down here. So here I got the email and then I clicked on verify account and then I was able to log in. Let me know if you all are at the same page.
It's done, Joe. I got with the main email only, but it took so much time.
Okay. How about Kanil and Sahiti?
Yeah, we got on Gmail. We did that now.
Are you in this page, landing page?
Yes.
Okay. In this page, this is the home page of your Salesforce. Go and click on this little bear button here on the top. You'll get your name and your Salesforce email ID, and you will see two kind of views here: comfy and compact. For now, let's go and select the settings button here. In the settings button, you will see all the details of your account. So here on the left side in the personal information, reset my security token. Click on this button. Then you have to request for a security token. So when you access Salesforce from an IP address and it's trusted for for your company, and you use a desktop client or the API, you'll need a security token to log in. What's a security token? It's a case sensitive alphanumeric code that's tied to your password. Whenever your password is reset, your security token is also reset. So for now, you can go ahead and click on the reset security token.
Got some alphanumeric characters in the mail as a security token.
Right. Let me also get that. So this token, right, whatever we got, this we will be using to call this Salesforce account from our API. So copy this code and then paste it in your local machine somewhere safe so that we can use it later. This is independent to each one of us. They are unique. We cannot reuse one others. So I'm saving the security token on my local machine. You also save it somewhere where you can get it later. Got it?
Yeah.
After that step, have you all done?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'll use the similar application, but here we'll be calling this as a Mule United Airport. We'll build an API, and that RESTful web service will consume that from United Flights information. There is one company called United Flights, and will be consuming or publishing to that. And this is a RESTful service. And there is one more service called Delta Flights information, and that is a SOAP service. These are the two web services types available, right? SOAP and REST. If you have gone through the basics, then you will know REST and SOAP. If not, please go ahead and research and study on the RESTful web services and SOAP web services after this class. And there is also a website which is already built. We'll be using the American Flights Information website SQL database call. So in the part one, we'll be building the application network with Anypoint platform, and we have two modules. We have 5 modules actually. We'll be doing all this. So look at this one here. What is on the left side? It is the HTTP request. A request will contain header and data. Header will contain, just like the post letter. If you are sending a post letter to someone to some address, on the top you have the header. In the header you will be writing the from address to address, right? And also some of the stamps and some other information which is not related to us, or it may be related to the postal department. These are all present in the headers, which is supporting a successfully delivery of something data inside that letter, right? Whatever may be inside the letter, but the header is important so that the data will be delivered exactly on where we want. In the same way, whenever request comes into our MuleSoft, there is a two sessions called header and data. In the header, we have all the metadata of what this data is about. So here it says content type is text HTML. So this data inside is a HTML format, and the method is post, and the host where it has to go is mulesoft.org, or where it's coming from. So some more informations will be there in the header. These are not only the 3 fields, there are many other things in the headers. So when it comes into MuleSoft, we divide that message incoming request into this structure. It has a mule message. This entire structure is called mule event. In the event we have the mule message, and in the mule message we have attributes and payload, and at the bottom you have variables. So variables is just like variables you use in Java or .NET. The variables is a placeholder, and then the attributes, we are putting headers inside that attributes, and in the payload, whatever data we get inside, it's called a payload. That's the only difference. So it's simple, right? Header coming in, putting into attributes, data coming in, putting into payload. MuleSoft does this, is called a mule event. So here, if you see in the Mule Debugger, we have seen in our last sessions, Mule Debugger, it will once you click attributes, you will see all the attributes coming in. What is attributes again? What does attributes hold?
Headers.
Correct. And then we'll also have once you minimize these attributes, you have a payload also. So that's 2 tabs mostly you will be working on, looking at debugging part, what a request contains in the headers and payloads. And then here is a walkthrough. Create a Mule project with HTTP listener and set the event payload. View event data in the data sense explorer. Use a logger to view event data in the Anypoint Studio console. Okay, let's start this. All of you start the Anypoint Studio up and running. I have my Anypoint Studio already open. And then new Mule project. Okay.
Yes.
The new project, name it as AP Dev Examples. If you want this, I'm sending the name in the chat. You can copy paste. App Dev dash example. Finish. Once you have it here, right click and close unrelated projects. In that case, all the rest of the projects which are not related will be closed, and only this project will be opening. In that meantime, tell me, how do I get a listener in this application? I want a listener.
On right side mule palette, you should
Mule
select
palette.
HTTP listener, and then you should drag and drop.
Perfect.
Hmm.
Okay. And if you want to add a connection, since it says errors, right? 2 issues found. 2 issues because it doesn't have a connector configuration and the path configuration. To add the connection configuration, you have to click on this add button. Since this is the only one enabled here, which you can click, the edit button is grayed out. That means you have to initially create an configuration. So click on that green button. That will open up like this, and let the default settings be there, nothing to change.
I think the mule palette in my console got minimized. I can't find it, how to bring it back.
In the window button on the top, go to show view, and there you will see the mule palette.
Okay.
Click on it. Anil, opened up your studio.
Yeah, studio open. Just a second.
Create a project called app dev examples.
Yeah, I created app dev examples.
Drag and drop the listener. Create the configuration, basic configuration, which is already there. In the path, /hello.
The connector configuration is not showing up. So should I create a new configuration option?
Yeah, you click the green button.
Okay.
And click finish or OK.
Okay. And yeah.
Now my aim is to allow whatever the request comes in, I should only accept the get method. In the last sessions, in the basics of any point platform, we have seen how to do that. Does anyone of you remember?
Advanced.
Very good. In the advanced, you have to select only get.
Sir, in connector configuration, what I need to do?
In the connection configuration, you will see only the plus green
Yes.
plus button, right?
Yes.
Click on that and click OK.
Okay.
Okay.
In the path,
And advanced, I need to keep get.
yes. In the path also, don't forget to mention the hello. Otherwise, it will show error. /hello.
Okay. GET.
And right now, this example flow, I didn't like this name. So I want to change it to hello flow, so that it's little meaningful. Right now, this is doing a hello message. So I'll just say hello flow. You also rename in the same way. And now we will go ahead and drag and drop this set payload and put it in the processor. In the set payload in the name itself, it says that we are setting some payload here. And what payload I would like to set? I would like to set hello, because I want that to be a message. So I copy that, and even in the display name, I'll put hello. So when someone new comes into the company and they are looking at your code, or your team lead is looking at your code, you'll get to know, okay, listener is listening, and then hello payload is set. After this, we want to verify if the call has come to our application or not. For that, we'll put a logger at the end. Done so far?
One moment.
Yes.
Okay.
I am facing issues with the palette thing, Joe. It is showing up in a different window or something.
You can always drag and play, or you can keep it anywhere. See, I put it here, or I put it here. You can drag and drop. Even for the listener, just a listener, it's not that readable. So I'm just changing it to get/hello. In this way, it's very clear. Here on the left side, whenever you select this listener, right, you'll see this input and output. Getting the properties is fine, but what is this input and output we are seeing here? So it says, again, as we saw, whenever request comes in, the data will be converted to payload here under the payload, and the header will be under the attributes. So we are seeing this is the data sense. That is the intelligence of the MuleSoft, that we can see what this listener can accept and what kind of data we'll be getting inside. So this is the data sense. That is how we'll be getting the data. Now, in the input tab, right, we have the payload and attributes. Select the output tab and examine payload, attributes, and HTTP request attributes. Again, we have input and output, right? In the output, you see there is attributes, and in the attributes, again at the bottom, if you double click on this, this will expand this properties. So in the output, you see HTTP, under HTTP attributes, you have so many of these attributes, which can be part of our output, not input. Input only we are getting these two, but we don't know yet. We are supposed to get some input. We just created, but in the output, these are all will be there. Look at this: certificate, query strings, method, scheme, versions, relative path, listener path, headers. Under attributes, under payload is just any payload, it could be anything. Did you understand the structure of the request and response here?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just payload and attributes. So this will be an important question in the interview also. What is a mule event? Mule event contains mule message, which mule message, inside mule message here, inside mule message there will be payload and attributes. Attributes is the header information, payloads is the data coming in the request. Simple, right?
Yeah. And variables will be whatever the variables we use in the flow.
Correct. True. Now let's look at the logger component. Here also we'll be seeing the input and output for every component actually. You'll be seeing the input and output. In that way, you will get to know what is coming and what you want to set. This is a new feature actually in the Mule 4 you are learning, because this was not there in Mule 3 or previous versions. Now let's save this and run the project. So I'll right click here anywhere in the canvas here, and then run the project, and then it will save and then run. You can also do this green button on the top, or you can right click on the project and run. There are many ways to run a Mule application. I just do this. So to test this application, how do I test?
From the client, advanced REST client.
Perfect. So I'll open advanced REST client. Now I have advanced REST client. How do I test my application? Any guess?
With the path name.
Okay, what is my path name?
Listener path name. What we gave, hello.
Hello.
Hello comes at the end, but at the beginning, domain name?
Domain name, hello.
Localhost.
Localhost, yeah.
Colon 8081 is the port number / hello.
Hello.
See, we got a response. And if you come back here in the console, right? See, payload is hello, media type and attributes. In the attributes, it's again a JSON object. In the JSON object, you have all this method, listener, path, where it's going to, and where we are getting from, remote address, local address. Do you see all this? Payload and attributes.
From where we got all this data, Joe? I didn't follow.
This is our console, right? In the console here.
Yeah.
So basically we put a logger and put nothing else here. So this is logging some information. That information is this.
Okay, got it. No.
Without this logger, we won't be getting any of the logs.
Okay.
Did you all get this 200 success?
Yes.
Done, right? Okay. Now I'll go here and add a query parameter called fname. Okay. In the fname, I and a value of max. Now what will happen? Or I'll also add one more query parameter. To add one more query parameter, it will separate those fields using AND symbol. And then first name and last name. Last name is Mule. Let's say Mule. Max. First name is Max. Last name is Mule. This is how you add the query parameters, right? And then now we have two parameters. These are part of the request. Now where do I see this Max and Mule in my console, in my listener? Do you think we'll see in the payload or in the attributes? Let's test. Okay, so I'll clear the console here. I'll click on this button that will clear the console. So I'll send the request again. Now come back. See, that is not part of payload, it's part of the request header. So payload is still hello world, but here at the bottom you see the request.
Yeah.
Fname, last name, first name is here.
Okay.
And then in the query parameters.
Yeah, please. I was about to say that we are passing something as a query parameters, and then it is still HTTP request, so it is coming under header.
Yes, exactly. This is a query parameter. So if I want to access this query parameter, now let's look at debugging. Okay, now you can stop this project, click on the stop, and then debug project, click on the second option. And I want to inspect what's the request and what's the response, right? So I'll go to this middle component, set payload, and put a breakpoint, add breakpoint. You see this red dot?
Yeah.
Then the breakpoint is there. So code comes in, code runs, and then request comes in, and then it will stop there. We saw this already. Did it debug for you, all of you?
No, actually, I just clicked on clear console. So should I stop it and should I run it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, my debug was running.
Okay. You can hit the same endpoint, but keep this query parameters. I'll send you in the chat. Put that
You
in.
can you please send entire link, Joe, once?
Okay.
8082. Yeah.
So if you noticed, my debugging was not working. Then what I did, I went to this file and then restart. Whenever you click restart, this entire studio will restart. So now debugger is ready. Now I have to trigger this flow. So I click on this send button. Now this went and stopped here, right?
Yeah.
So here you will get an option. Do you want to switch to debug mode? You can select debug mode, or you can say no. I say no because I don't like debug mode. If you are in the debug mode, that will be like this. Like this.
For me, debug is not coming.
Did you run the application, or did you debug the application?
Yeah, I run the application.
You have to debug the application. There is a second option called debug, not run.
Yeah, for me it's not showing up. Can I stop it and can I
Yes.
run it again?
Yeah, stop it and then you will see the debug application.
Debug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it came.
Okay. Debug it.
It says connected with Mule, waiting for Mule message to arrive in
Yeah, go
variable.
to advanced REST client and send. I sent a request request URL in the chat. You can copy paste that. It has the
Yeah,
first
it
name and
came
last
to
name.
100 response.
Did you put the debug point here?
No, debug point.
So go to this middle set payload and put the
Set
debug
payload.
point, and then send the request again. Now it should stop here.
Yeah, I clicked set payload and then
Add debug point, the last option, the red dot.
yeah, and I need to go advanced REST client again.
Yes.
Yeah, in variables and watches it came now.
Okay.
Hello.
Where are you?
Yeah, at the same. Place.
Okay. Here, if you see, attributes is there, right? In the attributes, we are getting in the query parameters, we are able to see the first name and last name, right?
Yes.
So again, in the payload is empty because we are not sending any payload here. Only the header information is coming with the request. So right now this is here, and if I go to the next one, on the top you will see this step button, right? Next process or F6. If I click this button, it will step to the next connector, next component. So here now, since we use the set payload is hello. Now you see the payload is as a hello. See,
Yeah. Yes.
that is how you debug everything. If you want to see what's in the query parameters, it will be in the attributes. If you want to see the payload, it will be here.
Okay. Payload is basically nothing but a data.
Data, whatever we set or whatever we are getting.
Okay.
Can you repeat it again?
In the payload, you are seeing hello when you step through this button
Okay.
here. When you click this,
Logger.
not logger here. Yeah, it will step through the logger. But if you have to click this next process button, this is the third button from the left.
Yeah, okay.
In that way you can step through every component in the MuleSoft and check what is going on in each. Why did we get hello here? Because we set hello payload here.
Hello payload.
Yeah, in the payload we are getting hello.
Yeah, okay.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I step over, then it's end of the flow. Now I got hello here. Sometimes what happens, this is waiting. This request is waiting for us to test and debug, right? It's patiently waiting. Sometimes what happens, this request will time out because it can't wait for forever. So actually it has to time out for 90 seconds. And where do we set this timeouts, right? This much time you have to wait for that process, and then if it doesn't respond, you can't just keep waiting on that call. That will be a network cost and time cost, right? So that's why you need to set a timeout. And timeout means it will wait for that particular time. It will check if the response is coming or not. If not, it will terminate. So we'll see on where to set the response timeout. Here in the advanced REST client main menu, select file. Where do we have file? And then go to settings. I don't have settings. Yeah, here in the settings, you see in the request settings, there is timeout here, right? Request timeout. Here it's 90 seconds. 90 seconds means more 1.5 minute, right?
Yeah.
So that you can change in that way. It will time out after that particular time. This is how you set the timeouts for the clients testing the application.
Joe, how to restart when the container got crashed? Just like what happened to you?
Go to file on the top and then click on restart. And after we are done testing, you go and click this button after the debugger. It's called Mule Design. Now we are back to our design view. This is a debug view. This is a design view. Got it, right? Here on the top.
Joe, can you explain me what is meant by debugging?
Debugging means during testing you want to see what is happening at what phase. Right now this application is running, you send a request, it will give a response, but you want to see what is happening, because sometimes if the application fails you have to see where it fails. And since this is a process, this is a flow, the request comes and goes, it's one flow. If you get an error, you want to research on how to get an error. To research, it's called debugging. Means you have to put a debug point at every place. Even if it is MuleSoft or Java, any coding language, it's called debugging. Debugging means you are looking at where exactly the error is.
Okay, to check out where the error is actually happening, we can debug and find it out.
Yeah, not only for errors, and also to see how your
What is
application is
happening?
performing. Yeah,
Okay.
all the request and responses, inputs and outputs, all of that. It is a very power, every developer will use this debugging. It's very powerful because you will sometimes construct the message or the expression to pull some data in debug mode, because debug is dynamic, right? Lively we are getting a request and lively we are processing it, and we stopped in between after particular component, which is a very special feature. In that feature we can test how our code is working in the real data.
Okay.
Okay, all of you ready for the next walkthrough?
Yeah.
Now let's pull and put a listener here. So right now, as I said, we will call another API, right? Right now we'll call an API a listener here. Sorry, when we are requesting, we have to call request. Request is another web service. Just like our advanced REST client is calling this application using this listener, we are getting a request. If this application wants to call some other application which is ready somewhere else, then we use this request method. Means you are requesting some other service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now in this example, drag and drop the listener from the palette, and then now let's instead of disturbing this flow, let's drag and drop let's delete this and drop request another listener, okay, below this, and we'll call this as a uh, goodbye goodbye flow. So to do this, we have to rename this first as goodbye flow. Once you change the name, now we'll put the listener. Okay, listener is already there, and in the listener view, configure the settings. HTTP listener is already selected by default, and in the path, goodbye is the path, and the display name will be just like above, get / goodbye. Here also we would like to restrict it to just get method. Same steps. You are getting hands on now. How to create listeners, how to add a payload. Now again we'll add a set payload. And what will be my message here?
Get goodbye.
Goodbye. Message, the payload. Right? This is there. And then once it's there, now this is when a request comes in, this will say goodbye. That is the target. Now to call this application, I am putting a request on the top of my first flow, and here I'll be calling this flow basically, and put the request here before the logger. Let me know if you can do this.
What to configure in the request? This is the default one.
No, request. So right now listeners are working on one listener. Request has to be different configuration. So first we'll start by putting a path. So path, we know that we have to call goodbye, right? So I'll copy this goodbye path and then put it in the base path here as a goodbye.
Do we need to configure here the thing we did in the above one?
Yeah, we have to configure, click on press button.
Okay.
And again we are calling this service. So this service is running on localhost 8081, right?
Yes.
And then click OK. Save. So can anyone explain what is going on here from starting from here, allow flow?
Yeah, we are calling goodbye flow with the request thing. We are referencing the path, and so that we can call the pass request as a request to the goodbye flow.
Correct. So tell me at the end of, if I test this application now, here what will be my message?
Goodbye.
Perfect. Because this
Yeah.
comes here, this comes to the hello world, and then this goes here, and then this will call this flow, and this flow will have the payload as goodbye. So hello will be replaced by goodbye, and then goodbye will be my end of the, see,
Output.
now you'll, yeah, output. Let's see here. Now it stopped there, and then it went to request, and in the request it gave an error. It says / goodbye failed. So I think we have given / I have given / so remove one, save again, and then whenever you save it will redeploy automatically. Deployed. So here again I'll go here, send request, step, finish. Now I got no response actually. The response is a binary data. That is okay. Response is a binary data is okay, because this listener is taking this and then giving it as a binary data. That is fine, but add a logger here also, like put a logger here after the goodbye and just say let it be, let this be, and then save it. Then again this will redeploy. Whenever you make changes and save, that will automatically redeploy on your local. Now again I am sending a request. It came here, no logger yet. So I'll step through hello world, and now I'm calling another flow. Request came to another flow. Now I'm setting a payload, and now I'm logging it. So whenever log component is passed, then you will see here the log is there. Goodbye is the payload, and then you are getting the all the details, the payload and attributes. Now again, if I go through logger, there will be one more logger here. One more logger has come, right?
Yeah.
That's what logger is used for, and I get a response. Okay, we'll stop here. Any doubts?
No, Joe.
No.
Clear,
No.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay,